simulcast the Neil Haley Show and Storehouse Media Group Podcast. And it's Neil the Media, John Haley, that unbelievable guest always, Jennifer Clarke Eskew, best-selling author, Becoming Fire. How are you?
Good to see you, Neil. Glad to know you're feeling better.
See, that's the most days. I would show up the next day, sick as a dog, and go and interview. But at this point, I was like, nope, I'm taking off. All right, so let's go right into the latest news with you.
Okay, latest news. I just spent the weekend back in Virginia doing some book signing events and just a couple of appearances. The first thing I ended up doing, the lady that was going to host me, April Roberts, up in South Hill, Virginia, which is really close to where I grew up. Her store, I got her shirt on. She gave me a free shirt this weekend. It's Rewind, Find, Consign, and she's got everything. Grandma's Attic and Granddaddy's Garage. She's got a little of everything in there that you can find to look at. And she has a second location in South Hill, Virginia called The Flip Side. With all of the things that she had, she invited me to a really cool vendors meeting for Friday night just to hang out. They get together once a month and they have something to eat and socialize a little bit and talk about their next goals and how things are selling and just what's going on. Really loved it. Had a good time. Got to see the back room, which is those old floors from 100 years ago and the brick walls from 100 plus years ago. Loved the back room. That was awesome. And that was at the Flip Side. I highly recommend if you're anywhere near Interstate 85 on the south end, like you're between the Virginia, North Carolina border area, swing through South Hill and see them because there's some great little, everything you can think of in there. Did that. Saturday, I attended the memorial service. It's the 13th year for Master Trooper J.A. Junius Walker. He is part of chapter 3 in my book. That was a solemn event, and yet at the same time, it was wonderful that his widow, Betty Walker, was able to come out, and she and a couple other ladies, they hosted everybody. So the troopers who were working showed up in uniform, and she made sure she fed everybody, which that was something no one expected and thought that was necessary, but that's what she wanted to do. And they told a lot of nice stories about J.A. and just, he was in that community for 40 years working, and everybody knew him. And when he was shot and killed, he had less than 90 days to retire. He was going to retire at 63. And it's just a tragic, terrible event. But attended that on Saturday, and I felt the need to be there for that. I had gotten to meet with Betty. I think I told you guys a few months ago I'd gotten to meet with her, and I wanted her to know about the book before it came out. Sunday, I went back to South Hill to Rewind, Find, Consign with April, and we did a book signing at her store. We sold some books. She has carried my book in her store, so she's been selling books for me for the last few months anyway, and just had a fabulous day there in South Hill on Sunday afternoon. She invited me to come back anytime. So the next time I'm up that way, I'm definitely going to go by and sign a few more books for people. Then Monday, the Dinwiddie Library, that's in Dinwiddie County, the Dinwiddie Library, Friends of the Library, invited me to come and speak and to answer questions and then also sell my books. They're part of the Appomattox Regional Library System. And it had been in the newspapers up there, been on the radio and all. We had a very good attendance that evening. The Dinwiddie Library is a very small building, but they had totally spent all their money to remodel this older building that the county owned and turn it into the library. And so it's a fabulous library on the inside. Found out from them that the Appomattox Regional, which covers several libraries, had ordered 3 copies of my book and 3 ebooks of my book to put at to various sites and make them available for people. I donated one there to Dinwiddie, and we did a talk. I read chapter 3 to the folks there, answered a lot of questions, met a young lady who's interested in going into law enforcement. Her father brought her, which I thought was so unique, since my dad was the person who suggested me going into the state police and what the basis of the book comes back to. And then here she was with her dad, and she's college age, and he brought her to this event. So that was how my 4 days in Virginia went. And it was wonderful. I like meeting all the people. I like talking to them. Obviously, I like to talk.
No, that's great. And you learned a lot about keeping the book alive, but understanding why you wrote the book.
Oh, yeah, very much. And it's good to have these things. A lot of the ladies talked to me about things that when they picked up on from the book, I had 2 or 3 people there that had already read the book, and they just wanted to meet me after having read it. The other thing is, I tell a story in chapter 3 about a trooper who was killed back in the 70s. This was when I was like a 9th grader. His name was Garland Fisher. And come to find out, one of the ladies in the audience, she had been their neighbors back in the 70s when that took place, has known the widow all these years who she did remarry. And of course, they had a tiny toddler daughter at the time of that murder. And so she wanted me to know and talk about it. And I said, look, if you tap in and talk to her, you please let her know about the book. And I will be more than glad to send a copy if she wants one. Just let me know. And so I'm hoping that I hear from them. Yeah, I don't know, because I know how it stirs up memories. 50 years ago will come right back just like that, and it'll hit you just as hard. But it was just an interesting to have that many people asking me so many questions and so much stuff. And then there's 2 or 3 people that were big fans of CrimeCon, and so they were excited to know I was going. And it's a big thing. And I'm getting psyched up because CrimeCon is the last 3 full days of May, Las Vegas, at the Caesar's Palace. Being accepted as an exhibitor with my book is just fantastic. I told you, Joe Kenda, of course, everybody knows if you look at the book, Joe Kenda, he wrote the foreword. He was so pleasant to do that for me, not really knowing me. I sent him information and he was just like, not a problem, I'll do it. He did it so quickly, it shocked me. Within 24 hours of asking him, he was writing back saying, is this okay for your forward? Are you fine? And I'm like, yes, I'm fine with it. And to find out he's going to be at CrimeCon, he and Kathy are going to be at CrimeCon again this year in May as a speaker. I think that's fantastic for Joe. So I'm looking forward to seeing them out there. And how I find this out is, in case Joe's listening, is Kathy texts with me, Joe, just so you know. We've been friends ever since we sat together a few months ago and got to laugh at everything. I'm tickled to death with where I'm going and how this is going. I'm still doing quite well on my website, the www.jenniferclarkeeskew.com. I'm getting plenty of orders. It's keeping me busy. The Amazon is going really well as I check on it. I was pleasantly surprised and pleased that the libraries had gone and ordered. They have a special way of ordering at a special low price. But it was good to know that because I worried if libraries were doing it or could, and it was good to know that. So they'll spread the word around Virginia and let the other libraries know if they want to spend a few dollars and get those books.
It's huge for you to get them in the library because that's another advertisement for your book, gets you out there even further. A lot of people do very well because we'll just think of 1,000 libraries order your book.
Yeah, so it would be fantastic. And it's really just getting people to reading the story. And when I grew up, we always, as little kids, and we always went to the library. Miss Ripberger was the name of the lady in our town who ran the library. She was a teacher. She was the librarian. She ran the library for the town. Even when she retired, she was still running the library. And so the Cambridge Library is known as Ripberger's Library because of her. Now, she's been passed away probably 35 years. And yet everybody still remembers her for that because she was so dedicated to reading and people learning to read and helping people to do whatever. And she taught reading. She would teach people that needed to learn.
I think it's fabulous what you're doing. Let's continue. We talk about something that we're not going to bring up yet. Yeah, it's in the
it is.
You have other projects going.
We're becoming more fun.
Exactly. But it just seems like you're just coming more and more alive doing these things. And it's therapeutic for you as well to be able to go out there and finally be out in front of the people in a different way than when you were a police officer.
Very much. I like it. I tease people and everybody, they laugh, but I know they're going to and stuff. And I go, you want my autograph now, but when I was a trooper, you didn't want my signature. And they get tickled. They go, no, I did not want your signature back then. And so I get a little tickled with them with that. But I enjoy talking to them, meeting them, asking them about things. And I like when they're asking me about past events. I had a young lady yesterday. She's going to be graduating in May. I have known her relative. He's been an attorney that I've known 36 years. And we had cases together because he was a defense attorney. He was a prosecutor and then he became a defense attorney. But we've known each other. We've ridden motorcycles together. We've been in each other's homes, eaten plenty of meals together between him, his wife, my husband, everybody. She was looking for what to do next because she's studying Homeland Security and criminal justice at VCU. and she's looking for where to go next. And with that, he told her me. He said, her book, Becoming Fire, find Jennifer's book. So she got it. And he goes, aside from that, I'll hook you up with her with phone numbers and you guys can talk. So she called me yesterday on my travels back from Virginia to Georgia. And we talked, and I sent her some information and talked about different agencies that she should be looking at, both state police, a couple of larger city departments or county departments in Virginia, but also some federal agencies. And because she's where I was when this book starts, that early 20s, getting ready to get out. What do you do next? Where do you go? So
exactly. That's interesting, right? The whole process.
And like I said, I hope that I can influence more people, and not just young women, young men, whoever's looking to do it.
Have you started contacting every one of the places that have law enforcement training and EMS training to see if they'll go ahead and buy your books?
I just had one popped up while we were sitting here talking, and the message came up, and I glanced up and stuff to see who it was from. And it's a new facility that's fantastic up in Delaware, and it just popped up, and I'm like, okay, guess I may be going to Delaware pretty soon. And they are a law enforcement training facility, and so and it's privately funded, which is very interesting. But I think that's great too. So you don't get caught up in somebody's politics. You just have the money, spend it, and people can get trained.
All right, best place to go is Jennifer Clarke. Jennifer, great stuff, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you. See you.
Bye. You're listening and watching the Neil Haley Show, and we'll be back.